Hi, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to show you a card today that is from Stampin' Up's upcoming holiday catalog. It starts a week from tomorrow. So a week from today is Labor Day. And if you're not in the U.S., I know I have a lot of you that watch that are not in the U.S. A week from tomorrow is Labor Day. And that's kind of the last unofficial day of summer as far as mentally in the U.S. So we will start decking our homes out in all things pumpkins and leaves and all that kind of stuff. And then the next day we can start ordering from the holiday catalog, or you can. So there are a lot of specials that will end this week, and I'm not going to try to get to those in today's video. So you'll want to stop by again to see that, because I have a lot to get to. If you don't have one of these and you're in the U.S., let me know and I'll be happy to send you one. So I did want to tell you two things. My videos may be a little bit less for the next few days because I am working on some online events with my demonstrator teams I have a group of girls that I work with. We're called Creating and Sharing the Life You Love, or at Friends to Stamp over on Facebook. And so we are in the midst of creating a fabulous online class. I mean, super, super, super fabulous. So I have some projects that I would love to show you because they're so cute. But I can't because they're for our online class. So while I'm doing that, I'll have a little less to post on here because my projects for right now are only for that class. But you can take the class. So we have a demonstrator option and a customer option. You can go over to my website and click, well, it'll be in all the posts. There'll be a link in this post. So if you're a customer, you get the Perfectly Plaid bundle, and there will be 9 projects. You get this bundle. If you're a demonstrator, we know you probably already have it, so you'll just get a little bit more swag in your packet, but you'll get all of the supplies, all of the videos, a ton of stuff in your particular Facebook group of the online class to make these, and then you'll also have the PDFs, so you can, if you want to keep those with this, so you can complete your 9 projects, and then you'll have probably about 18 variations of this same kind of project, but then with other stamp sets and other things in the holiday catalog. Trust me, it's fabulous. You don't want to miss it. It will get you going for the whole holiday season. So it does use the Perfectly Plaid. So I wanted to make sure you knew about that because registration for that does end September 3rd. And then today I am using, it's a little bit of everything from the holiday catalog. I'm using the Frosted Frames. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. Dies, and they come with this super lovely paper, and I haven't shown you this paper before. So one side of the paper, look how pretty this is. It reminds me of when you used to, well, if you're my age, and you used to go to the department stores, and you would go into the, where they would have all that wrapping paper hung up, and you could pay to have your presents wrapped. And I always thought, when I am old enough, I'm going to pay these people to wrap my gorgeous presents in this gorgeous wrapping paper. And you know, they would have the bows, and you know, now I don't even think they do that anymore. But I can wrap my papers pretty. So one side of it is this beautiful, beautiful silver, and then you're left with this horrible thing that always happens with their pretty paper, because the other side of it is our new kind of where they take pictures and they create paper, because look how pretty this is. I mean, how are you supposed to choose? It's 6 by 6. You get a ton of designs. I mean, look how pretty this is. If you go scrapbooking, if you go skiing and you scrapbook, you will need this because it's perfect for your scrapbooking projects. But it is beautiful to frame stuff. It's beautiful to make cards. I have seen super, super pretty cards with it. It goes with the dies that I'm using today. I am not using this paper because the card I'm making today is a fall card, and this doesn't really do for fall. It could. There's a couple of designs that I could make work, but I'm gonna mix it, not even with the stamp set that it goes with. It has a really cute stamp set that goes with it, but it's more of a Christmas kind of stamp set. I mean, look how pretty that is. Super, super pretty. But I did want to show you that since I'm not using it as it comes. I'm using Nature's Beauty. And the funny thing is, when you look at this, I often have my people, like when you look at this, the first thing you think, well, number one, I want to point out that it's the mental health or It's like the, oh, words, migraine medicine. It's this, like the charity set. I can't think of the word. But every set that sold, depending on the country that you're in, Stampin' Up's going to make a donation to mental health, a mental health charity in your nation. So it depends on where you live. But when you look at this stamp set, like you think, oh, it's an animal set, right? Because it's got a really pretty deer, a fox, and a rabbit. So everybody thinks, oh yeah, that is an animal set. I'm not going to use the animals. So I'm going to not use the animals, and I'm going to use dies. It doesn't come with dies. It's just a standalone set. So I always encourage people, take the most focal stamps out, and then look at the other pieces that come with. Because sometimes then you end up with a whole different stamp set. You see this stamp set completely different than, because a lot of times when you look at this, you're like, oh, it's a deer set. Take even the deer out and you see a different stamp. Then you may see an Easter set or a masculine set, even with the deer. But when you take these out, you just see the stamp set differently. So I'm going to use, first we're going to do the die cutting, because I need to know how much space I have for this to work with. So I'm going to use the 2 frames. And there's a lot of dies that come in it. And if you want, like if you're trying to save that beautiful paper when you use it, you can lay this inside. I'm going to cut them in 2 different colors. So I'm just using Mellow Moss. I don't care to save that paper right now, so let's do it first. And I have found mine cuts best if I just put it in the center and kind of offset it a little bit. Well, that's this way, it's not going to go over here. Let's do that. I just don't want the square to go through perfectly, so this goes through straight. So I did roll it once this way and then back. And your machine may be a little different. My daughter actually made, we have a live demonstrator event coming up that's the same as our the online one. And she's already done her swaps. And then I flipped it over once. And so she made her swaps for that. So she had to do a lot with this because she did it with this frame. She just added a shim so she didn't have to roll so many times. And it was a little bit, like it took a little bit more oomph to go through. She added 1 sheet of cardstock under it. But then it was just 1 pass. So now I can tell that's all nice and cut out. And then I have a piece of shimmer white. And I'm going to do this center frame with this. And it just takes 1 pass. And she also did have her frame in the middle. Because since she was doing so many cards, she just went ahead and put that in there. She didn't use it on her swaps. But because of the sheer number she was making, it saved space. I should not have run that straight through, but because I was talking, and you can see it has a nice little stitch detail on that. So that's all the die cutting that we need. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do, there's a little bit of funky orders to this because the card, I will tell you that when we do classes, sometimes we do, like we try to come up with some clever things. And so when I was doing this card, I was still kind of doing some clever. Especially when you're doing classes for demonstrators, you'd like to show them some fun things. So this has some out-of-the-box kind of stuff on it. So you're still getting that, even though you're not getting a card that we're doing in it. This is the new copper Delicata stamp set that's in the holiday catalog. It comes in copper, silver, and gold. And these are the dots. I think they're probably snowflakes. In the stamp set, I'm just using them for dots, just to make my own background paper. And it dries fairly quickly, but I'm going to emboss over the top, so I want it to be nice and dry. But look how pretty that background paper is. It is a gray, rainy day in Indy today, so I have my studio lights on. It would be prettier to you if it was sunny outside. So I'm just going to set that aside now to dry, and then I'm going to zap it with my heat gun before I emboss it, just to make sure that the part I'm embossing is nice and dry. But it doesn't, I've had people ask how quickly that dries, and it dries pretty quickly. So let's pop this out. And you can see that was 1 pass on that. This is one of the new Stampin' Up made dies. Take my memento. I'm only using 2 stamps out of that big stamp set. So I'm going to use these leaves, and I'm going to create my own little autumn leaf frame. I'm going to take my glasses off because it's easier for me to do this when I can see. So you kind of start. I did a couple of these, and it was easier actually on a big, like more of a square as opposed to a rectangle. But I really wanted to use this frame, so I just made it work. So the first time, go around and just kind of create a circle-ish effect. And then I almost did a box wreath, because you know those are really trendy right now. So now we have the start of this, and then you want to kind of clean this off. You don't have to take it to your thing because you don't want it to be wet. And so now when I stamp it, I'm going to try to go off the edge of my pad, so I'm not getting the stem every time. And then just go back and kind of fill in some of these. Oops, and I just got my stem again because I'm talking. You're going to fill in some of the holes. And they're going to overstamp, but that's fine because we're going to color it. I did better at this when I was not talking, when I'm just sitting alone in the quiet of my room with me and my cats. And the more I went, the less leaves I picked up. So now just get these ones here on the end. You can see you can just kind of then fill in with tiny bits of leaves. There we go, that's pretty good. So now you have a round leaf with just this little swag. And then we're just going to color them in super, super quick with our blends. And I have all the light colors except for pumpkin pie. And I'm just going to use the brush tip. And you don't have to be perfect because it's just going for the colors of autumn. And what I did was I left this is Mellow Moss. I mean, not Mellow Moss, Mossy Meadow. I'm showing my Stampin' Up! Age. It's the darkest color I have, so the leaves that stamped the darkest, I colored those in with that. So you can see I'm not coloring perfectly. I'm just brushing the color over. It's more of a wispy look. So that was Calypso. This is Pumpkin Pie, and this one I do have the dark. Yeah, this is the one they pulled the dark, because the lighter Pumpkin Pie has a peachy tone, and I wanted it to be autumn leaf tone. So just kind of fill those in. This is Mango, and actually, that's what I did on my first card. I think I must have my curry, because I remember now that we have curry. I must have it in a project somewhere, because it is not in my stand, and I'm pretty sure now that we have a curry, but it may be in one of my projects that I already have pulled aside for a coming event. Mango's fine. We do have mango colored leaves. And then this is the light real red. And I'm going to switch it to the dark. I have my other card here. You could almost go cherry cobbler too, depending on how dark you want your red. It's nice when you've done one card and you can kind of decide which way do I want to go now. Now I'm going to fill in the rest with the light Mossy Meadow. Oops, I have the wrong tip. It goes faster if you use the brush tip because it just about colors the whole leaf in. And this one I can kind of, since it's green, you know, and it's not really until those last, you know, one or maybe two if you're lucky, depending on how much rain and wind you get on any given fall. If you get full fall trees. There we go. So they can have lots of green. So here's this. I will show you, this is the one that I started with. So you can see the difference if you have a bigger piece of paper. But when I was done with this, I really want, that it's too big for any of the stitched frame dies that we have. Like I couldn't get a square to cut that out because it was too big. So then I just trimmed up close to it. And I really, then once I looked at the frames, I wanted to put it on the one I had. So I just made it fit on a smaller one. That's what it would look like if you do it larger. And I may come back and do a Christmas thing with this later. Not that one, because I don't like that particular one. After I didn't use it, I started messing with it differently. Okay, now let's go back to this. I will show you here in the middle. That's dry, because lots of people have asked, how long does it take that to dry? And it is super, super muggy. And like I said, it's raining pretty hard, and before that, it was even muggy and Indy. So if it's dry here, then if you live any place where it's not muggy, it would dry even faster. So I'm just gonna make sure that this is nice and dry right here. And just tip that. Now, I haven't gotten any of the stamp sets that have a Happy Thanksgiving or any of the, there may be one that has a fall. But this was laying on my table. I had all the way cleaned up from my camp, and this is from To a Wild Rose, and you may have seen my video that I did. It may be the last tutorial that I posted. And I just really like the Blessed. It goes well with fall. Goes well with Thanksgiving, and it looked really pretty with this card. So I'm using copper ink pad again. I'm just going to stamp it down here. And you can emboss with this because it does stay wet long enough that you can emboss. And I thought about using copper embossing powder because that would be pretty. But then I thought, yeah, I'm going to go with the new, this is the Sparkle Black that's in the annual catalog that was new this year. Pour that on there. I'm going to try not to go everywhere, just in case there's anything that is a little wet. But you can see it's all dry. Pour this back in here. There's also a new Sparkle White. So it's embossing powder that just has, it's called Shimmer Black, and it just has some dazzling diamonds kind of glitter in it. So let's heat this up. And the reason I did the stamping first and then the embossing second was I wanted this to be on top of my dots. Because if you stamp your dot on top of the embossing powder, it will take that longer to dry if it ever dries at all. Because sometimes when you stamp inks like that on top of something shimmery, then it does take longer for them to dry. Okay, let's go back to our little frame now. Put my scrap paper here so I can catch all of the... And you can see it popped out nicely after the way I ran it through the machine. Now, this has snowflakes on it. And I do not particularly care for any snowflakes to be on my fall leaves because that just means they won't be around for long. So all you need to do, because we don't want the snowflakes, is just snip them off. So there's one big one here, which makes it a beautiful, beautiful frame for that frosted paper that I showed you that it comes with. And you know, it's designed to go with Christmas cards, so that's why there's a snowflake. But if you want to use it the rest of the year, then here's what you do. You just snip these little puppies off, and you're just left with some leaves. And then you have a year-round set. So this one right here, it leaves like a little bit of a snowflake. So just cut it into a leaf pattern. See, I took that bit off so it wasn't jagged. And then over here, you want to leave this bit on, which I did it twice, and then I ended up using the one I snipped off. So be careful, because we're going to do something pretty with those, and you want more of them. And I accidentally snipped them off on one of my frames, and then that's the one I ended up sticking to my card. And then this one right here, you'll be able to tell when you look at it. And I'll put a close-up of both of my cards so you can see the wrong one and the right one. But even the wrong one, you can't tell. If you sent this to anybody, they would not know that it was wrong, because nobody's going to analyze it but you. And then these up here, that may be like a bit of a snowflake, but we're not going to pretend that it is. Because see, I think that might be a snowflake, but we're going to paint them. So to us, they're flowers. Knock that off. So I wanted these to be copper as well, because copper's my favorite metal. So here is the Delicata Refill, so you can refill your pad. I'm just going to take, it just takes a tiny little dot. That's too much because I'm talking, but I have this much in here. And then this is a dried up Stella, not dried up, just empty. And you know, I have a zillion of these. And this one I used earlier, and you just put the lid back on them and they'll be fine. So I'm just going to take the tips of these and all these little things that are either ends of snowflakes that were left on, or the little nubbies of flowers. I'm just going to paint those all copper. And I kind of left it on a little thick because it gives an illusion of kind of like our pearls, which are going to be added to the card. And I think that you could paint this on our pearls or our rhinestones or anything that you wanted to paint it on. If you were making a Halloween card, it would be super, super pretty to do this on any of the black cardstock, because it would show up nicely. In fact, if it's not dry by the time I'm done doing my video, I may use this up because I did too much of it. But it's a really nice copper paint then. This is the kind of stuff we like to come up with when we do our demonstrator events or our online classes. It's just kind of some stuff that you might not see elsewhere. So you have some fun tips and tricks, especially if you're a demonstrator, that you can give to, you know, throw out in your classes or in your downline event. And snip those two things off right there. So you can see that it just gives a really pretty effect on it. Then I'm going to take this. And again, you kind of just grab a chunk. And then if you just dot it down, it leaves like a little bead of it. And this is great anywhere where your stamping may have overlapped and left like a smudgy, which on this one I didn't do too bad. The first one I did more leaves because I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. But again, it just adds like some berries to your design and some beautiful copper effects. I guess I don't have that much too much, although there's quite a bit on the end of my I have a stem just sticking out there, so it's a perfect way to hide it. And then I don't think it's going to dry up on the end of my Stella because I have the lid on it. So you can see it just gives a nice little coppery effect. Now we just have to mostly stick all this together. So originally I had this mounted on a piece of, I think it was on soft suede. But then once I embossed I was done and was mounted on soft suede, and it just felt like it was empty on the bottom. So I pulled it apart and I moved this thing up, as we often do. And because this was black, then I really liked it on the black. That kind of pulled it, made the card a little richer. So let's mount this on here. And this black, then you can see how pretty that looks. It just pulls it all together. Put my glasses back on. And then I'm going to take, almost done with these. So I have a strip of dimensionals. When you get to the ends of your dimensionals, where you just have edges, save them for projects like this, because it's perfect for when you need to put on a frame. Stick this on. And then a couple of little touches to our wreath. This ribbon is, it's like the Magnolia ribbon. It comes in a 2-set. I do have the other one. It's in the Come Together suite that you'll see in the holiday catalog, and it comes in this. So it's an autumn ribbon. I'm just going to use this little twine. And you don't need much, about that much maybe. And just take it once and fold it in half. Make sure your ends are even. This is a great ribbon for those of you that say you can't tie ribbons. So in half and then in half again. So you have like four lengths of ribbon. And then just hold it like this. And you're going to take a glue dot. And then for this, decide which side of your wreath is prettier. If you like this side or this side to be the top. And actually, my other one's a bit boxier. I did better at this one because now I've done it twice. So if you're going to do this, just practice once on a piece of scrap. The more times you do it, the better you get at it. So then I've just stuck my glue dot right there so you can see now I have a bow shape. And then just add your bow there. Then I've got basic pearls, and these are beautiful. They're the holiday rhinestones from the catalog. They're like the Noble Peacock, but these are different colors, and they're holiday colors. So I'm going to take a couple of these. I'm going to stick one of the big ones right over the top of my bow, and then that has sandwiched the glue dot and the top of the bow. And then I'm going to get one of the rust ones. So now I've got a little bit of copper. And then I'm going to get another one of those. Oops. And I'm going to get a couple of pearls. And I only want the smaller ones. I don't want any giant ones. And now we've got a little bit of dimension to our wreath. Throw those glued dimensionals away. Just mount this. And then we're done. So it uses a whole lot of different elements from the holiday catalog. Nothing that was really meant to go together. In fact, nothing at all that was meant to go together. Got frames from one suite, ribbon from another, a completely different stamp set. You can see this one, my wreath is more boxy, but again, that boxy look is in, square wreaths are in. This one has more of the things, and you can see this is where where'd I cut the extra? Maybe I didn't cut an extra one off. Maybe I did pick up the right one. There was one where I cut too many, but it does look like I got all the ones with the right snowflakes. So mix up your stuff. When you get stuff, mix it with old things that you may already have. But you know, we all need new stuff because it's a sickness. It's an addiction. So if you need a holiday catalog, let me know. If you're interested in doing any of our online events, I have, I'll put the links down below on this or on my website, or if you're on Facebook, there's an event link over on the side where you can get all of our upcoming events. So everybody have a great day. Enjoy our last week of summer. Hopefully it will stop raining because I got to get me some more pool time in. We did have to turn our pool heater on because the nights are getting a little bit cooler and it has cooled it off. So when the days aren't as hot and your pool is a little bit colder, it's like, if you have to say goodbye to summer, at least it's hello fall, because fall's my favorite season. So everybody have a great day. Bye.